Hello everyone, this is Vartika, and once again I am right back with a video on the user defined functions. Right, when we talk about the user defined function, we have to understand how we can write a user defined function, how we can use it or implement it in our program. Right, all these things are to be taken into consideration. And in this video, we are going to deal with those concepts. How we can create our own function and implement that in our programming. So whenever we have to write a user defined function, whenever we want to develop our own function, basically there are two steps involved that should be implemented. The first one is your function definition and the second one is your function call. Now, what is function definition? See, what happens in function definition, we are actually creating a function. Creating a function means that we are providing a name to the function, and at the same time we are also specifying the parameters of the function. That means the values upon which the function will act. And at the same time, we are also specifying the body of the function. Now, what will body contain? Body will contain the statements that will be executed when the function is executed. Right? Another step is your function call. Now, what happens in function call? See, when we write any function, when we create any function, that function is not executed then and there. That function will be executed only when we write the calling statement. That means the statement which will initiate that function. The statement through which we specify that now the function has to be executed. That is known as the calling statement, function call statement. So first we create the function and after that we use the function. In order to use the function, we write the calling statement. So unless and until we write the calling statement, the function will not be executed. So now let us see how we can write the function definition as well as function call through certain examples. But before that, let me tell you that we have already discussed in the previous video that the functions can be of three types. The first are your built-in function. The second is your function inside a module. And the third is a user-defined function. So when we talk about the built-in function or the function within a module, for those function, the definition is already written by somebody. That means the function definition is already created. So for these two categories of function, we only write the calling statement. For example, let us understand. See, we have used the function print and we write print and within bracket we write some text. So this statement is basically the calling statement of print function. Right? The definition of print is already written somewhere. In the same way, when we write math.sqrt and within bracket we write some number. In that case also, this we are writing the calling statement. Right? And the definition we are not creating. So with the built-in function or function inside a module, we are only required to write the calling statement in our program. But when we talk about the user-defined function, that means once we are creating our own function, so for that, first of all, we are going to write the function definition and then we are going to write the calling statement. Okay. So let's see how is function definition written. Now this is a syntax of the function definition. See, function definition has two parts. The first one is your function header and the second is your function body. The first line, that is function header, this line is a you can say this is a compound statement. So this starts with a keyword. Here def is the keyword that specifies that now we are creating a function. After def, what we have written? We have written the name of the function. And after the name of the function, within parenthesis, we write the parameters name separated by comma. It can be one or more parameters. Now this function header line, as you can see over here, this is ending with a colon symbol. Right? Now coming up to the function body. See, function body is containing the statements 1, statement 2. Function body will contain all the statements that will be executed whenever we will refer to this function name. So all the set of statements which are to be executed when this particular name is called, that will come under function body. And as you can see over here, that the function body is indented. That means it since it is the part of the compound statement, so the statements in the body are indented. Now let us understand it with the help of an example. See, here I have taken two function definitions, right? Now, if we talk about the two function definitions, these are the header lines of the function definitions. And then these are the body. Now, let us understand this function in detail. See, in the first one, the function name is product. Now, this function is taking two arguments, A and B. See, it is ending with colon. And in the function body, what we have done? We have simply taken the product of these two parameters, stored it in the variable, and then returned this variable from the function. See, function has a capability of returning some value. As I have discussed math.sqrt. See, when we use math.sqrt function, it returns an answer, right? In the same way, here product function is also returning an answer C. Right? In the same way, when we talk about the next function, that is greet function. Now, greet function is again accepting one argument with the name S. Now, what we are doing inside the function, we are simply displaying hello and then the value of S is displayed. One thing you have to remember, that a function identity is its parenthesis. See this parenthesis. This is the identity of a function. Whenever the function name will be written, whether it is the function definition or a function call, that name will always be followed by parenthesis. Now the parenthesis might have some value or it might be empty. Right? So in this case, product function parenthesis is containing two values. Greet function parenthesis is containing one single value. So this is how we write the function definition. Now moving on to the function call. See what happens in calling. As I told you, calling is a step that initiates or triggers the function. So how do we write? Let's see the syntax. See, first of all, function name and then parenthesis, and within parenthesis we pass certain values. The number of values passed during the function call will be same as the number of values, that number of parameters in the function definition. So if the function definition has two parameters, then during function call we are going to pass two values, right? Those are known as arguments. Let us understand with the help of example. See, if I talk about the function product. Now product function is accepting two parameters. So now when I have to call this function, what a statement I am going to write? See, I'll be writing product 10, 20. So the value 10 will be provided to the variable A and 20 will be passed on to the variable B. Since there are two parameters in the definition, so during calling also we have passed two values, right? Now since the function is also returning a answer, since it is returning an answer, so we are also accepting the answer in a variable. See, here I have used a variable D to accept the answer returned by this function. After that, I have displayed the value of D. Now what will be the answer? 200, right? In the same way, if I talk about another function, greet. Now greet function is accepting one argument. So when I am calling this function, see, my calling statement is greet, and within bracket I have passed a string. Now since this function is not returning any value, So we have not written any variable to accept its value. And when I run this function, what will be the answer? The answer will be hello Arun. So this is how we write the calling statement, right? Now let us talk about how we implement user-defined function in the form of a program. If we have to write a program that contains certain user-defined function, how do we write? What will be the structure of that program? See, if my program contains one or more user-defined functions, we normally make it a rule. We can say, however, it is not necessary, but we normally what we do is we write all the function definitions at the top, and after that we write those statements that are not the part of any function. The statements which are not the part of any function are known as the main program, or you can say the top level statements, right? And Python gives them the name underscore main underscore. Now when we run the program, that program which is containing certain user defined functions, the program execution will start from the top level statements, that is from the main program. Okay, so again I am showing you an example to make you understand it in a better way. See, here I have taken the same functions product and greet. So I have first of all written the definitions. This is first function definition, this is second function definition. So I have written both the definitions first, and after that I have written the statements which are not the part of any function. That means which are not the part of any function body, right? These statements, these three statements at the end, these three statements are called the top level statements. And when we run this program, see, the execution of the program will start from the top level statement. That means the first statement that will be executed is this one. Now when this statement is executed, see, this is the calling statement of the product function. So when a calling statement is executed, the control is transferred to the place where the function definition is written. So now the control will be transferred where? To the function definition of product. Now when the control is transferred to the function definition of product, all the statements in this function body will be executed. So both the statements C is equal to A into B and return C, these two statements will be executed, and once these statements are executed, then the control will be transferred back to the statement from where it was called. So it was called from this statement. So it is, the control is returned again to this statement, and it is also carrying a value which is stored in the variable D. Now what will happen? Now the next step that will be executed is the next statement, next top level statement. Now this is a simple statement. This is not the calling statement of any user defined function. So this will be executed. After that, we next move on to the third statement. Now this is again the calling statement of another user defined function. So what will happen? Again the control will be transferred to the function definition of greet. Now this function, again the body of greet will be executed, and after the body is executed, the control is transferred back to this statement. So this is how the program that contain the user defined function, this is how the control moves in a program. Right? So whenever the calling statement is executed, the control is transferred to the function definition. There it executes all the statements in the function body step by step. And after that, the control is returned back to the caller program. So here, this is your caller program and this is your called program. Okay. So with this, I come to the end of this video, and in this video we have covered in detail how do we write the user defined function, how do we write a program containing user defined function, and what are the various ways or what are the various steps involved in dealing with the function, right? So my next video will cover about the return value as well as arguments passed to the function. So do subscribe my channel so that you get to know when the moment I upload my new video. Thank you.